in the upper right in the red. On a pretty nice run thus far in EPT Korea. Team NV, technically. His name is Creator. And the bottom left in the blue. Probably the best Terran in online competition. And certainly very good in this matchup. It's Byun. And I realized, as I said, that this is a guy who's technically for Team NV, and he does have the clan. I don't think he's representing them in any competitive stuff anymore. It's always interesting when you see Clan NV, Team NV, the team that used to be a team that has now fallen apart, but was still supporting players for quite a while, but that wasn't clear. No one really knew what was up. Very, very weird. Regardless, Creator's rocking the clan tag at the very least. We're going to take a look at what's happening. And Byun, we've started to see this a little bit more on some of these newer maps where players will go and they are, in fact, going to eBay block, and they're going to be annoying because a lot of these maps, Hecate's a great example, Oceanborn's another one. The natural is fairly defensible for the Protoss. It's not the best thing, but it's fairly defensible. But the third is really hard to defend. It's wide open. I mean, just look at this perspective third. Creator doesn't want to take this. It's horrible. Doesn't want to really want to take this one as this natural either. It just... Hellions punish you so hard if you go for something like that. So Creator for now, he had to pull probes. That slows him down economically a little bit, as we can see. I mean, there's a spike, but it's not going to force him to take the natural in the third. He's not going to really be as obnoxious as might otherwise be. So from that perspective, Byun builds a minor lead, not the biggest of deals. And behind this was Barracks Double Gas Factory, by the way. So delayed natural, and he's probably going to build the natural on the high ground. Let's be real, when you do go eBay block Barracks Double Gas Factory, your command center will not be done by the time Adepts show onto the other side of the map, and honestly, it won't be all that close. So if Byun, I was going to say, if Byun decides to expand, well, it's going to have to be on the high ground, but this is going to be Hellion drops here in game one. And Creator has the... Oh, he's going to scout it. And because this SCV is so low, it's just going to get denied immediately there. Well, plan one for Byun is not working out. And I was going to say, Creator has the perfect build anyways. Going Stargate into a Hellion drop is just... It's so good. Phoenix lift the Hellions. They can knock the medevacs down. They can do all these things. And it's really hard to get the damage you're looking for done with Hellions. So Byun, he's not going to go for that anyways. Instead, building a natural on the low ground, a third command center on the high ground. Because if you're behind economically, if you've committed for something and it's not going to work, and clearly this is not going to work, well, you might as well greed it in the extreme to try to make something happen, to try to fight your way back into a game that you've just put yourself behind on based on the builds. So third CC, of course, on the way on the high ground, low ground natural as well, adding in a second barracks before the starport. So really taking a different approach to this game than Byun wanted to, even as recently as a minute ago. Of course, Creator behind this, we know what he's going to do. He's going to add a third base, probably around 430-ish, because this is going to be Phoenix Colossus, I think. But again, Phoenix Colossus is going to be on the way, slightly delayed third base, but very defensive, very happy about how this game is going. These Hellions I thought they were going to get knocked down, but only one Phoenix, so that really is going to be fine. Of course, behind this, Warp Gate is a little slower than it might otherwise be, so that's going to complete as well. And now Creator, well, he's going to find the Hellions on the middle of the map here, knock those down once he gets the lift off. But Hellions actually pretty quickly, and because Creator didn't quite micro his Phoenix properly, the second high energy one was a little bit further away. It's going to take a second to kill that. It should still go down. Certainly the Hellions will fall, but it took a little longer. There we go. Robo Bay on the way. Immortal's getting added in. And Creator actually, he's going to get the third base now, but this is kind of late. And I feel like he might have had the wrong read on this game, which, I mean, fair. Byun deciding to go 3cc off of a failed proxy starport is kind of crazy and extremely punishable. So Creator, without scouting in the main base, he wasn't going to see, and he was again focused on the Hellion, so he doesn't really know what's up. It doesn't really not. Creator, that's got to be a mistake, right? Yeah, double Robo Bay on the way. I hope Creator figures it out in time. But he's building a second Robo Bay on top of the first one. Now, there's a crazy world where this is going to be for extended thermal lance and Warp Prism Speed or something, and go for like Colossus drops. No, that's not how this works. You do, if you're going to Colossus drops, you don't need Warp Prism, or you don't need extended thermal range, extended thermal lance as fast. And well, Creator, this is just making sure that he is not gonna fall victim to getting one of his Robo Bays sniped, I guess. But no, this is just a mistake. Unfortunate mistake from Creator. And honestly, a lot of the deficit that Byun is now dealing with, he's kind of clawed back. His third base is, well, it's going to go on location right around the same time that Creator's third base is done. He's got 1-1 on the way. Stim just about done. A worker lead just about equal. And again, Protoss has Chronos. That's really nice for the Terran. Now, Creator, he is up in army supply, and that is the one thing, the big thing that Byun has missed, is that he has not been producing that many units. His army supply is not incredible. So, ooh, nice there. Gonna knock a Phoenix down very quickly. But Byun's army is not where you would expect it to be at 6-7 minutes into a game. Generally, we expect to see the Terran up somewhat significantly in army supply. Of course, in this situation where Byun has been playing very greedy, this makes sense. That's the axis of production that he's cut. Not as much of an army, making sure that he can get everything else out. But this army of Creator right now, pretty equal in army supply, single Colossus, couple Phoenix, with good force fields. Creator can maybe not kill Byun. I don't think that's going to happen, but he can trade pretty well. Byun for now just going to occupy his time, knocking the rocks down, building up some supply depots just to mess with any charge lot, any sort of zealot and Colossus AI, things like that. So Byun actually now getting ready to move out on the map here. As Creator, he postured, didn't really find what he was looking for, but by the time that Byun really moves out, it's 2 Colossus on the map right now, third one on the way. Extended thermal lance is going to be done soon. I don't know that this aggression out of Byun is really going to work out particularly well, and this has kind of been an interesting game. So we had a Byun that wanted to be aggressive. Creator just found it immediately and shut it down before Byun could do anything. And then Byun says, okay, that's fine, bet. I'm going to go and I'm going to take a third. I'm going to greed out hard. And that means that in a matchup that is often dominated and really defined by Terran aggression, Byun hasn't been all that active. We look at resources lost. It's 10 total units that have died over the course. I'll make it 11 soon, but it's not a lot. There's really has not been a lot of trading. And I think technically we'd say that this is pretty much in favor of the Protoss. Templar's on the way, and yeah, Creator is going to start to get ready to move out to get aggressive now that he's got 3 Colossus. Now that charge is just about done, +1 just about done, adding these Archons on top. It's Creator the one that wants to move out here, but Byun, he is also starting to be pretty active on the map. So double drop on the north side, and his goal is, oh, this Warp Prism might, no, Byun's not going to get it, but he's thinking about stemming up the ramp right now. I don't like that. There's a sentry right there. There will be some force fields. And that is a pretty small choke. So yeah, Byun making the right decision there. He's not going to stem up the ramp. He's going to be fine. Instead, that is 4 medevacs getting ready to boost onto the north side as he brings the rest of his army together. Weird. But we will see the Observer go down. And Creator, well, he's going to try to take this 4th base, sees the 4 medevacs, cancels it immediately, but he should be somewhat prepared to defend the rest of this. So Byun will back away. And this game has kind of been a chess match. We talked about how this is a setup where Byun has been, his aggression didn't work, so he went greedy, and Creator has just been slow rolling it up. We're still in this game where 9 units killed to 8. It's been a lot of ghosting around the map. 2 players mirroring each other over and over again, looking for that value, but both realizing that they're in a very even game. A very even scenario. And that means that it is hard to really get any sort of substantive damage. So Byun scans on the north side. He's going to get a probe. But Creator's base, his 4th base, is going to find itself on the bottom side a little bit. And, you know, Byun is starting to trade a little bit better. He's killing zealots 1 by 1, but let's be real. We're looking at a 500 resources delta in a 10-minute game. Players are on 4 bases. A couple extra zealots are really not going to make a difference. But now Byun's maxed out. He's got 2-2 versus just +1. He's got these 3 ghosts as well. If there's a timing where Byun makes something happen, it's going to be right now. This army that he's got is incredible. EMP is on the army. Disruptors, they get all 3 ghosts. Byun doesn't split them in time. And not a lot of EMPs either. Now, the Disruptor will fall, and we only have 1 Colossus in this army right now. There we go. More Disruptors joining the fray. And that was honestly, that Disruptor shot ends this pressure from Byun. Without the ghosts, you don't have EMPs. You don't have that ability to go and knock down a significant amount of the Protoss HP pool. So Creator, now he's going to max out, and beyond that 3 upgrade timing, I think he's kind of lost it already. Yeah, 2-1's going to be done very quickly. So Byun, he had a bit of a timing, didn't really get all that much done. Now Byun, he's going to try to attack on the bottom side, but there are Colossus and Archons and things. I don't really think this is going to get much done. What it is doing, though, is making space for the north side, but there are 5 Medivacs onto the high ground. Disruptors are doing a decent job, and Stalkers are going to have to respond. Creator on the bottom side as well, taking a pretty decent fight, holding on well enough here as the Vikings, they're going to try to run forward, but there are not a lot of them. So the Colossus doing a pretty nice job here. Shield batteries keeping the Colossus alive for now, and now into the main base. Stalkers blink on top of the Medivacs as well. And this dropout of Byun is just not finding what it needs here. Yes, Stalkers are falling, but the Colossus, all of them have stayed alive. Gravitic Drive done in 10 seconds, but both attacks, both big attacks out of Byun on that timing, it really didn't get much done at all. Well played there by Creator. Really, that's not an easy defense. He lost 8 probes. He lost to Disruptor, a couple Phoenix, but none of his tech really. Actually, that Disruptor died earlier on, so really none of the tech or Creator. And now he wants to move up into the high ground, but that's pretty hard now with the EMPs. But the Colossus and the Warp Prisms a save. Disruptor shots as well. No, Byun dodges those, but more shots are going to try to find their way in. We're going to see a Widowmine fall. And with 3 Colossus on the docket here, Byun's army supply, he's down 25 army supply. He's got more. Well, he's got more command centers on the way as this game gets ready to go pretty late. It's going to get pretty hard right now. This Colossus count out of Byun is just, it's hard for Byun to deal with. There are not enough Vikings in the sky. They're going down pretty quickly, and a single Disruptor shot will end this game. Byun dodging desperately against them, backing up and backing up and backing up. But Creator just takes game 1. Solid defense, turning it into solid offense, and game 1 goes this way. And now in game 2 of our series in the upper left, in the red, up a game, just relentless defense. It's Creator. And the bottom right, in the blue, down a game. It's Byun. And as we get into game number 2 of this series, if you like StarCraft, if you like Byun games and Creator games and Gumiho games and classic games and Cyril and Maru and Max Pax and all of these awesome, and Clem and Rainer and all of these awesome players, you should hit the sub button, because pretty much every single day, not on the days where I'm working ESL Masters, that hasn't been possible, but in general, at least 5 days a week, you're going to get a best of 3. You're going to get a best of 5. You're going to get a best of 7 with all of these awesome players, and I can guarantee that there's going to be at least one solid game in every series. Otherwise, I'm not uploading it. Simple as. That's just how it works. So you should hit the sub button, and also you should like the video because it really helps out with the algorithm. And also, talk to me about PvT. And that game, Creator did a great job, but it was a game that Byun kind of put himself behind early on. Creator got the solid scout. Byun went proxy. He went 1 base play and then tried to greed up and get 2 extra command centers, and didn't really work out quite as well as he would have liked. And if you don't have a thought about PvT, yeah, drop an emoji. You know, it really just helps out with the engagement. It means the algorithm shows this to more people and allows the channel to continue to grow, and it allows me to produce some more content. So overall, it's a pretty good deal. That being said, Byun, he went for a Reaper expand in this. Was it Reaper expand? No, Marine expand, excuse me. In this game number 2, not going super aggressive, not going super crazy, while still getting a decently timed tech structure, while getting a decently timed factory and pretty quick command center. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. You're not being as aggressive as you might otherwise be, but it gets you into the mid game really nicely. It means Widowmine drops are definitely on the docket. Cloaked Widowmine drops can definitely be a thing off this Marine opener. you have a bunch of options. Now, which one Byun goes for? Well, we're going to have to pay attention, but he did get a second gas pretty early. So that might indicate that there's maybe a little bit more tech on the way earlier on, and Starport goes down pretty quickly. But of course, as also we're talking about this series and this 1-0 lead for Creator, it's also worth mentioning how these players have played. And this is a matchup that Byun has dominated in the extreme. 61 wins to 21 wins in series in Legacy of the Void. That's pretty significant. That is a... Byun has 3 times as many series victories. Granted, Creator has had times when he has not been particularly solid at all. He's not been very good. So, I guess that makes sense. Even still, though. 61 to 21 is kind of crazy. As, by the way, Byun, he is going for a bit of a drop, but it's not the Widowmine drop that we're talking about, not even Cloaked Widowmines. He's building Marines 2 at a time. He's got Hellions as well, and this probe is going to go down, but with the medevac on top, we're going to see, I think, an elevator play. Maybe 6 Marines into the main, Hellions diving into the natural, something like that. This is aggressive coming out of Byun. Make no mistake about it. Like, he is trying to find some value here. And at the end of the day, it's going to be 3 Hellions, it's going to be the Marines, and it's a full scout from Creator. He sees what's happening. He saw the medevac. He saw the Hellions. And now he's got a wall going up on the end of the natural. The drop is definitely found out here. So, Byun is... Well, I don't think he should get much done. The Hellions certainly are not going to find their way. And actually, I love this from a Creator. He doesn't even bother with walling off with a couple units and making that happen. He knows that this is double prong drop, so he full walls the natural. And then runs his units into the main base. That being said, Byun's going to try to get aggressive at the front here. And he's, oh, this is so cool. So now he's putting aggression into the front, getting damage on the gateway, trying to drop into the main base as well. But Creator's having none of it. He's accepting the timing. He's got a shield battery, so he should be able to heal that up. And now Hellions in the main base, but there's a sentry right there, so that can get force fielded out. And this is just handled so beautifully by Creator once again. And that was what happened in game number 1 as well. Looking for that move in, though. Hellions, now they dive in. Overextending just a little bit. Probes are going to get pulled here. The Stalkers aren't doing anything. They're stuck in the middle of the map, and 5 probes will go down. Lineup not going to find what it wants here, so it's only going to be 5, maybe 6 probes. This could have been much worse out of Creator. There we go. There's the 6. This could have been worse. Could have been better too. Oh, he does get 7 at the end. Okay, so that kind of validates it. That, if anything, Byun's ahead right now. He up a couple workers, only loses 3 Hellions. The medevac stays alive. The Marines stay alive. I was praising how good Creator's defense was, and it was really good. It was very solid. And then he just lets the Hellions in and kills everything and loses 7 probes. That's kind of rough. But he does have a bunch of Stalkers onto the other sides of the map now. And with a hallucinated Phoenix, he can jump into the main base even before his Robo. So Stalkers getting ready to blink into the main base. Tank shot gets one of them, but they're just going to run on top. There's no stim. This tank is dead. Very nice move there coming out of Creator, knocking down some Marines as well. SCVs are going to get pulled. We're going to see this medevac fall. And the Stalkers are just going to slowly blink backwards. 4 workers will fall. And, I mean, Marines, they're dying here as well. So Creator's going to do what he can. He wants to keep Stalkers on the high ground, but the tank sieging up makes that a little hard. And 5 workers will fall. Raven in the natural looking for some damage. Auto turrets are going to get spammed, but this Raven is dead. Probes get pulled away, like 1 probe. Not even that. Like, I guess 1 probe went down. Creator, with a couple moves, getting that Raven so quickly, getting 5 SCVs, killing the tank, killing those Marines. Put himself right back into this game. Right back into it. Now the tank's going to unsiege. Creator thinking about jumping on top of it, gets the tank down, trading for a Stalker. Fine. Even trading for a second Stalker, I think you're okay with that. It takes so many of the teeth, so many of the fangs out of this upcoming Terran push. And more Stalkers on the way, because Creator understands that, well, this is a slower stim. Because of the Hellion drop, because of the quick start port, everything else, the stim is just going to be delayed. And he's thinking about it. Another hallucination going into the main base. Stalkers are going to be there. He's going to get a 3rd tank, and yes, he loses a Stalker for it, but more SCVs are going to go down. Byun is just kind of reeling right now. He's not where he needs to be. Stalkers blink on top of Marauder as well. Now stim is done, so Creator has to be careful. But he's getting Marauders, he's getting Marines, getting SCVs, blinking around. Once again, there's the recall. Another Stalker will fall. Second one goes down. But for the cost of 9 Stalkers, it's been 9 SCVs, 3 tanks, Marauders, the Viking, Marauders, Marines, Raven as well. This is such a beautiful setup out of Creator. It's really nice. Now, a very quick storm on the way behind this, which is, given the setup here, that's actually pretty smart out of Creator. The wild thing, though, is that we don't have a Robo. There's no Warp Prism. You can't hide the High Temple. You can't hide the storm in the Warp Prism and make that happen. You're just going to have to do it straight up. That is much, much harder. Although defensive storms are going to be pretty nice here, denying a lot of this. Targeting down the High Templar, though, is Byun, but it's just going to turn into an Archon as it gets pinballed on forward, bowled on forward. 2 probes will fall. Stalkers are going to try to knock the medevac down, but target fire on that one means that, well, the Stalkers will fall on this drop on the left side, denying the 4th base as well. So a little bit awkward there coming out of Creator. It's not the best move out of him, and Stalkers continue to fall down. Creator, he's down about 20 army supply. This Archon can't do what he wants, and Byun is swarming. What really does feel like not a lot of Terran army. It's doing enough. And now more Marauders are going to fall, but Storms are going to be nice. And with the medevac count not all that high, Storm's going to do a pretty good job. Only 2 storms on the map. Oh, okay. that was the storm you're looking for. We didn't quite see it, but that was absolutely the storm you're looking for. Just think about 15 Terran supply just died immediately. As a Warp Prism, well, excuse me, not the Warp Prism. Widow Mines are going to roar up here. Stalkers should be able to find their way out, but that's just a dead High Templar. When you're playing this style, as Creator is, you really, every High Templar needs to find value, needs to turn into Archons, needs to find that timing, that needs to get the big storms. And I would love to see a Robo, but Creator just not interested in making that happen. So these High Templar, again, it's a lot harder to keep them alive. And Widow Mine goes off, gets Zealot. I mean, as long as it doesn't get the High Templar, it's okay. These Widow Mines, though, there's no detection. We still don't have a Robo. This is wild out of the Creator. No Robo, just Charge Lot Storm Archons. And Byun's got Ghosts on the field. This armory coming out of Creator, or coming out of Byun, I don't know how Creator is supposed to handle it. Okay. He's getting a Robo. Okay, fair enough. He's getting a Robo. That's a lot better deal. Because again, without a Robo, without observers, once the Widow Mines have a cloak, you're not doing anything to it. You're just kind of in a really rough spot. So, Biostims forward, they're going to find one of these High Templar, and Storm's going to, well, do damage. But enough, there should be enough medevacs right now that's not going to get that much done. Storms go down once again. That one, though, is much nicer. And yeah, he wants to put this pressure on, but if he's going to keep eating storms like that, he's not really going to be able to. And now, a couple Zealots are going to warp in. I'm unclear as to whether this is going to be a run-by or whether this is just going to be for a tiny little flank. I guess it's going to be a run-by. And Byun thinks about stimming down the ramp. We have storms available, but it's not getting cast just yet. There we go. Beautiful storm. And a second one should wipe this army out here, but I guess it's not ready. Not just yet. High Templar getting targeted down by the Marauders. And it's going to have to be just a bit of a retreat once again. And Widow Mines make it so hard. Meanwhile, Zealots on the other side, they're not getting much done. Byun's reinforcements really handling it. So, again, Creator is defending well enough, although losing a couple High Templar before they get their storms, it doesn't feel great. But now he's adding Colossus. Now he's adding that second Robo. So the tech is developing. There's nice feedback there on the forward ghost. There are still more. So even feedbacking the singular ghost doesn't do you a ton, because again, there are 3 more feedbacks where that comes from. EMP is on one of the High Templar, but a second one joins the fray. Storms are gonna again be really, really nice here as Byun tries to avoid that. But at this point, well, there are enough Charge Lot Storms as well that this should be fine. Ooh, friendly fire on the Widow Mine. Single Zealot runs forward. So again, Byun gets defended. High Creator stays alive, and now double Robo Colossus, double Robo Disruptor. Actually, it's only going to be a single Colossus and no extended thermal lance. which is kind of cool, actually, because there are a lot of Vikings on the field, and the Vikings are very good against Colossus. They are very not good against a bunch of disruptors. What are they going to do? They're going to land and die to the disruptor shots. They just do not handle that well at all, as the Widowmine will fall. Some will get saved here, and Vikings, they can play this defensively. I would have liked to see Crater drop the Zealots out at the end, but it forced the army of Byun back home again, and Crater's getting pretty close to maxing out. Now, Crater, he's got his 4th base done. He's got Stalkers on the map, so I think he's going to try to snipe these Vikings, maybe. But I think when Crater maxes out on this +2 timing, I think we're going to see him just run across the map. He's going to have he's got two disruptors. He's going to have more Stalker or Colossus as well. And yeah, these Stalkers have to run away. There's concussive shells. There's a 4th base. There's a planetary. This army that Crater's making, it's one that times out, I think. It's one that you do want to trade with. As EMPs just blanket the Stalkers, but now that's less EMPs for the main fight. Still a couple, though. So Byun is trying to posture for this. And Crater's actually setting up a big... Oh, no, Crater. That's... Stalkers are dead. Never mind. I was going to say that Crater's setting up a pretty nice concave. Or a pretty nice surround. He's got Stalkers on every side. Units on every side. Like, if Byun was going to attack into him, Crater was going to swallow that army whole. But losing all the Stalkers, that's not great. Disruptors, Byun not paying attention there. Line of sight blocker betrays the Terran this time. And Byun just lost a lot of his army, so immediately goes, picks up, moving somewhere else. That's 5 medevacs on the drop, but Crater, his entire army through the middle of the map here, and Byun without 5 medevacs. That's about 50 army supply not available to him. Yeah, Byun may snipe a base. His defensive storms are even making that one hard. And this army of Crater in the middle of the map here. Byun, he's on move command. He's losing so much of his stuff. Yeah, probes are falling. But more Zealots are going to warp in right now. 20 probes are dead. Crater, I think he's just going to run it straight up the gullet. Yeah, he is. And this army that he has is just not something that Byun can fight easily. And by the way, his drop on the other side, it's not getting dealt with necessarily, but it's being handled somewhat. Disruptor shot storms as well. They're juicy. And now now we're going to see some of those SCVs go down. The bio on the high ground is just... It's stuck in a corner here. The storms are doing so much against this. And now, as much damage as Byun has done, he's starting to receive it in spades. More Stalkers are going to warp in, and all the tech on the high ground while more storms go down. That being said, army supply getting pretty even here, and another base is going to go down. We're seeing gateways get depowered. But Byun taps out. He doesn't think he can hold this. He doesn't think he can base trade the Protoss. And Crater, he moves on to the finals here of EPT Korea at number 200. He's got a date with Cure.